Welcome to the What's Good Games podcast. It is our pre-E3 show, everybody. Woo! Steimer, are you excited about E3?
Yeah, I am.
Amazing. That's fantastic. So, as you guys can see, we are all here together in the studio. This is exciting. We don't get to be in the same room all together very much.
No.
So, I'm Andrea Winnie. Andrea Winnie. What's my name? It's been a long week. I'm Andrea Renee.
It's Tuesday.
I know.
Still been a long week.
Oh, I'm joined by my fantastic panel of co-hosts, Miss Christine Steimer,
Hello.
Miss Alexa Ray Correa,
What up?
and of course, Brittany Brabacher.
Hello.
So ladies, we have quite a show today. So we're not even going to dally around. We're going to jump right in. Next week, it is E3. We are exactly 1 week away from recording. By the time this show goes up, though, we'll be just one day before EA kicks things off with EA Play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of nuts. It's bananas.
I know
every year.
Fair.
Everyone says this, but it gets earlier every year. Now it's Saturday, and then next year it'll be Friday, and then we'll cry.
And then it'll be 2 weeks, and then it'll be 3 weeks, and then eventually it will dissolve because it will mean nothing.
it'll just
Yeah.
be E3 month.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the excitement and the kind of pomp and circumstance around E3, but I could not do a month. That's too much.
We can barely do a week, so
Yeah.
a month.
Well, no, it is a week. Like if you take it's 6 days, right? Saturday to Thursday. That's 6 days.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is almost a full week of video games
Yeah.
and video
it
game
is.
related activities.
It's okay. It's a good week.
It's a good week, but it's just
It's an overwhelming
too
week.
long. It's
Because
overwhelming.
I also think it's sort of a strange idea for everyone to be like, you know what? We're going to announce all our news at once so that it's a blur and no one knows exactly what's going on. And nothing really gets that much time in the sun. You know, like I just think it's a weird concept.
So would you rather have E3 kind of dissolve?
I think eventually it will. How long will that be? I don't know. But like at some point you see people already like leaving the convention center, and Nintendo stopped doing a conference altogether and they do their own Nintendo Directs. So I think people are basically taking the idea and then tweaking it for their own company or what they think is best.
Well, also there's a lot of public stuff this year. Like
Yeah.
EA Play is open to the public.
Yep.
Yep.
It is.
And then there's
not on the show floor.
Bethesda's isn't though. I can't remember.
They do bring in a small group of community and fan members. They did that last year. I have to imagine they're going to do it again this year because they have quite a large auditorium to fill.
And then E3 itself is open to the public.
Correct.
So it's
15,000 tickets.
It's just a thing now.
Yeah.
Just another game convention.
No. Come on. Not just another
I
game
think
convention.
E3 definitely, it's still very important to the industry, and it is the convention. I think it's kind of losing just a little bit of that. We're seeing evidence of that with them inviting the public and E3 Coliseum, all that good stuff. But I think E3 will always be the convention.
It's sort
for
of
news.
losing a bit of its pomp and circumstance like that it's had in the past, you know, and just the sheer size of what people used to do, what people used to do for their booths and what they used to do for their announcements and like spending millions of dollars on their press conferences. Granted, I think they still do just because of the venues, but that's one of the reasons why Nintendo stopped doing conferences, because they're like, this is expensive and what's the return here? I don't know. We can literally just make a video and put it on the internet.
And not have to worry about errors,
Right.
syncing issues,
Right.
all that stuff. Yeah, that's part of the charm.
Yeah, exactly. So let's not delay. Let's go ahead and jump right in to what we think is going to happen at E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo 2017. So in the first block, we will talk about Xbox. Then we will talk about PlayStation. Then we will talk about Nintendo. And then in the fourth block, the best of the rest. So let's start with Xbox. So we got a little bit of news from Xbox this week. Engineer at Microsoft has kind of rolled back some of the tech specs of the new Scorpio Dev Kit that's coming.
Oh, no shit.
Yes.
So, according to a story on GameSpot, Microsoft released a video in which Xbox engineer Kevin Gamble talks about the dev kit, which is more powerful and doesn't have exactly the same form factor as the retail kit, which has not been shown off yet. So, this is different than the current Xbox One dev kit, which is the same, one and the same with the Xbox One retail kit.
Yeah.
So, this dev kit for the Scorpio has 24 gigs of GDDR5 RAM. RAM, which is 12 gigs more than the retail unit. And it also has an additional 1 terabyte hard drive. Also of note, the system has a front panel display that can display the frame rate and can have light games like Snake programmed on it.
What?
Someone's done that.
That's what you need when you're
Someone has
developing a
done that.
game is to play Snake in the middle of development.
cool.
I guess that's
Light
an
games.
interesting side note. So, I mean, this is not that surprising, I would say. I mean, obviously, we're not like the tech savvy podcast that you might listen to. We are, games commentary more than anything. But I mean, dev kits generally are much more powerful than a retail kit. But this is different, like I said, than the previous ones, than the Xbox One. So, what do you guys think about this? Is this impressive to you? Are you like, meh, don't care? What's going on?
all dev units are essentially PCs. Like they're just kind
Correct,
of built
yeah.
in like a different way. And sometimes they, like you said, like they will look like the unit. But I think that's maybe after it usually ships. 'Cause I think initially they all look like a box.
Yeah, that's true.
A big box.
Yeah,
Or
like
even
a-
bigger box.
It's the different sizes of boxes, and that's about it.
So I watched the video, and I don't know the techie things like we said. So why would they make the dev kit more powerful than the actual retail unit? Is it so it's easier to scale back? Why do they do that? Does anyone know?
I don't know specifically. I can make guesses that might be completely wrong.
That's why they're
But I do think it's something to do with that. So probably when you're developing, you can kind of get an idea of. I mean, I'm not even sure what an average person's PC has for gig. Wow, my brain is completely
good.
melted. I'm like for RAM. Oh, there we go. I was like, for what are we talking about?
I believe our PC has 24 gigs of
24?
RAM.
Okay.
Powerful. So maybe, and since Xbox and PC games tend to be developed, like Xbox tends to go on PC more than say a Sony exclusive
Yeah.
does not go
Right.
to PC. So maybe they did it like that so developers would have an easier time building for really powerful PCs, and then they can just scale it down for Xbox Scorpio.
Interesting. So something we probably all can speculate. Price. Any thoughts? Guesses?
$600.
I think that's
$600.
I think that's too
No,
high.
that's too high.
No.
500.
They won't do. If they do
or
that, they're
less.
dead in the water.
Do we want to take bets?
Well, I have previously said on some other outlets that I think $449 is going to be the base model for the Scorpio, and that they'll have tiered models up to $599. That there will be like
With
the
a
base
bigger hard drive or something.
Yeah, so kind of like what we saw with the Xbox One S. They had like an entry level model, so to speak, and then they had a bigger hard drive, and the more terabytes and more space you had, the bigger the price tag.
I don't remember off the top of my head. How much did the Xbox One S cost?
The base model was $399.
It was?
Yes. That's why it was such a big thing at E3 last year, is that I thought that they really came out strong with a great message. They said, hey, here's our brand new hardware. It's slimmer. It's more powerful. We've got this sleek new controller that you can play with it, and it's coming out in August.
Right.
And so they kind of like really made this splashy entrance with their new hardware last year, which they needed to do to compete with, the PS4 Slim and then the PS4 Pro, which ultimately came out later in the year. But I mean, I think the thing that is on all of our minds is the Scorpio a true successor, or is it just like a mid-generation bump? And I think
Like a significant bump.
right. I mean all
More
the
so than the
teraflops, right? But like
Teraflaratops.
Look, I got a dinosaur on my shirt today too, so he's got all the teraflops in there.
he does.
Teraflops are actually harvested from the same source as fossil fuel.
Oh, geez.
Anyway.
I can't tell if
You
you're being
made that
serious
up.
or not. So that's why I
Not
took a minute. I was like,
true.
what?
No, I wasn't being. I was being facetious.
Okay,
my
well, I was
dear.
like,
That's a
What
great
the
word.
fuck?
Drink
I
your
love that
drink.
word.
Drink your
Facetious.
drink.
Okay, so what do you guys think? So
Whoa.
do you think what?
So if
My straw is like full.
are listening and not watching, we have our amazing disco balls full of alcoholic beverages. The ladies besides me are drinking some incredible watermelon punch that Andrea created.
It's
Guys
true.
will make
If you
noise.
guys have seen the Facebook video that's been going around where you can tap a watermelon with like a little beer tap that goes in the side of it, I actually attempted this and successfully created a mini watermelon keg filled with watermelon punch. It was incredibly messy and 100% rewarding. I hated myself while it was happening, but afterwards I was like, yeah, I made that thing.
Yeah.
It's really good. But back to the Scorpio. So
Yes.
back to that. We could do an alcohol.
Also,
episode
I would
now.
like to say for people who are not watching this, Brittany has notes. Like she has a little notepad.
I do.
And she scribbled. She's cheating
Because she came prepared, Steimer.
cheating. That's
Yes,
called cheating.
No, that's called being prepared.
You don't have a notebook. Where's your preparation?
In my brain somewhere?
No, so the story behind the notes is I got really shitty sleep last night, and so I knew today would be one of those like I need notes days, and it's all good. But coming back to the Scorpio, so do you think you'll get it though? If it's $500, like base model 500 or less, do you think you will be a consumer?
No.
All those specs mean, and the price tag like does not mean anything to me.
Because
unless
the
there's
games?
great, like where are the games? Like
Right.
if they're like we're launching and it's some awesome, amazing like AAA like game and then like Viva Pinata Deluxe or something. I don't know. Like
I would buy it
as
for
an
Viva
example.
Pinata
Or
Deluxe.
Steimer would
like,
buy it.
I would be like, all right, $500. I'm pre-ordering today. It doesn't matter. If it has the games, I will get it. So far, they don't even have any games coming out on the Xbox that have convinced me to pull my Xbox out of my closet. So we'll see.
It's in your closet?
It's in my closet. It's not even out.
We got to get you playing some Gears, some Horde
I
mode.
finished Gears.
Well, I mean, like we could play Horde like together.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't have anyone to play hard with me. So
Well, hopefully after Microsoft Showcase, we will be like, oh, holy crap, we need the Xbox Scorpio. Or maybe at least you will
Drag
take
my
yours,
one out.
or whatever the Scorpio is titled after that point. Because that's just a...
Yeah, this is just a code name.
Yeah.
Xbox 2.
Think it's going
No.
to come out in fall?
Xbox 1, 2. Xbox 1, 2, 3.
180
Xbox.
What about a release date?
Spinning in circles.
Fall?
holiday.
Well, I mean, they've said holiday. I have to imagine they want to get out in front of Call of Duty. Not that obviously Xbox isn't partnered with Activision anymore. That PlayStation partnership has been doing really well for them. But if they want to sell hardware, if they want to do any kind of, a big push with the holiday games, you want to get in front of Call of Duty. But, that's first week November. I don't know if this is going to be ready to launch last week October. So maybe mid to late November, like obviously pre-Black Friday here in the United States. But I mean, I don't know. There's nothing that I've seen so far that says that they're not going to make holiday release, but also they've openly said that they don't have like a big AAA game that's going to be launching this fall. There's no Halo. There's no Gears. They don't have a third-party partnership that's announced, like, what we saw like a couple years ago with Tomb Raider. And so, like, I don't know what game Xbox is going to get on stage. I mean, outside of Forza, obviously this is a big staple for Xbox. The Forza franchise does really well for them. But I think when you talk about people who are going to go out and buy a new Xbox Scorpio, I don't think Forza is the game that's going to sell it for them.
Definitely not the one that's going to sell it for me. I do not care about Forza.
We'll have to see at the showcase.
I wonder if they'll announce like in the same vein as PlayStation. Just nope. Not even going to finish that sentence. I wonder if they're going to nope.
Oh, sorry. What?
Oh, you noped me.
No,
you pre-noped
I
me.
didn't mean to.
I love you.
Sorry.
But no. I wonder, and this nope is probably the answer here. I wonder if they'll do what PlayStation did with the Pro, and we're like, here are all these PlayStation 4 games that these studios have re-upped to look better on Pro. Like, do you think we'll get like Xbox One version of, Xbox Scorpio version of Gears, or Xbox Scorpio version of like Final Fantasy 15 or something like that?
Maybe.
Like maybe upscaled versions.
That wasn't what I was going to say. Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Well, they're
yes.
definitely talking about Sea of Thieves.
right.
Phil Spencer tweeted from Rare not that long ago. I was like, oh, I can't wait to play. And so, I mean, they've been teasing that game for quite a long time. So, I mean, if we don't get that this year, I would be very shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I meant like they'll do like pirate edition. Here's your pirate edition
you mean
of
like
Scorpio.
you mean like a custom console?
I don't know. Sure, why not?
Well, maybe.
But yeah. I mean, I'm just saying it's the only thing they've got this fall that I can remember.
don't
off
have
the
a
top of my
release
head.
date
Unless
for-
Halo Wars.
That came out already.
Did it? No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
A while ago.
What?
Shame.
Oh my God.
Shame.
Wow.
No,
No,
it was good. You should
absolutely
play it.
shame me. I thought it was still. Wow.
I'm excited
Yeah,
for
I
it.
missed you, Halo Wars. I'm very sorry.
State of
I actually
Decay
liked the
2.
original.
Yeah, so
State of Decay 2.
Phil Spencer wore that T-shirt on stage at E3 and got people really excited. I kind of still see this game as kind of a culty game. It's very underground still. I mean, obviously people recognize the name, but I mean, it doesn't have the kind of IP recognition that like a Left 4 Dead has, right? So I think that you are right to be excited. People have, expressed their enthusiasm for this title too, and it's one of the things that Xbox is clearly promoting, but again, is this a system seller?
What about Crackdown?
Crackdown.
I don't know if it's going to be ready yet because I haven't seen anything from it in quite a while.
When they announced Crackdown, they had all that like cloud technology stuff behind it, and they said that didn't they say that they were launching?
It's from the Azure stuff, right? The cloud processing.
Yeah, and like, did that happen, right?
What happened?
Well, we don't know anything about Crackdown. They haven't talked about it since last E3, and even last E3 they didn't really talk about it.
Right,
They
like, it's a
showed
game.
So I
little
wonder,
thing and that was it.
I wonder if like the specs of that game just like totally changed.
I wonder if it's no, that wouldn't make sense. I don't know.
Like maybe it's not the like crazy like cloud based destruction game, and it might be something different. Or scaled back.
As long as it's
or maybe they're holding it
Crackdown, like similar to Crackdown, I'd be fine.
Maybe
I don't need everything in the world to destruct. Like I'm okay.
Fair
You
enough.
sure?
She's like, are you sure?
Maybe they're holding it for
sure?
Scorpio. Maybe Scorpio
That's what
is
I was
the
thinking.
thing.
I'm like, I'm hoping that like they were like, well, we need a AAA game to attach to this console.
Yeah.
Crackdown, you're up. Like, come on.
You crack down.
Moving on from software, something I think we'll see Microsoft push will be Mixer, which is formerly Beam. I think they would be smart to push it.
But in what way?
Well, obviously they're trying to go head to head with Twitch,
Right.
right? And so what Beam, it's not Mixer, I keep saying Beam, is trying to promote is like we have this awesome like co-op feature, and I think we can all in this room appreciate that because that's something we've tried to work out together because we're all remote except for Alexa and Andrea, and it's been a real pain in the ass.
Right.
So if they can work something out that makes it easy and convenient for us all to stream remotely, I mean, I'm cool with making that jump. Not that I don't like Twitch, but
essentially kind of what they're doing is what third-party sites do for Twitch already, which is like you're just taking the individual streams and putting them on the same page. Well, they are making it much easier for users to watch it, but it doesn't sound like they're doing anything revolutionary in terms of the back end. Like we can't then grab it and use it in a way that would be useful to us.
like export to YouTube.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm wondering is if they're going to announce these features at E3. Like maybe they'll have a little stage presence because one of the issues also is ad revenue. Right now, I don't think people who use Mixer get ad revenue. So that's probably something. They said that users using Mixer will be able to get ad revenue soon. And this was posted last month.
I think that something like that is
TM.
not an announcement that belongs on a flashy stage like E3 is, and it doesn't have the kind of like razzle dazzle of like a trailer with crazy EDM music underneath of it and what have you. That would probably
Do you
be.
want money to stream?
Yeah.
We've got just the thing for you. Introducing Mixer.
Ad revenue.
So I think what we're gonna see from Mixer is maybe like somebody coming on stage or maybe them doing a live demonstration of Mixer because
the
their
game.
big push with that is real time, like talk to your fans in real time, interact in real time, and that's something that Twitch is obviously not doing because they have built-in lag for that. And my thing with Mixer is I think the idea of this technology is really cool. I think being able to have 4 people streaming from a within the same game, but they all have different windows, is cool. I think the market, the slice of people who are live streaming games right now, who that it's going to make a difference for, is the smallest of small slivers.
Yeah.
If you want to think about it of like a Venn diagram overlap of who's the people that are live streaming on Xbox or PC who have multiple people playing the same multiplayer game, they want their own window, and then they are going to live stream that out. Like I feel like it's just such a small niche audience. Like
Pretty much like this room.
I mean, yes, this room is a perfect example. I just don't know why they would want to like kind of lead it as that, like as their primary feature. We've seen some, or I don't know if you guys have seen that there's been hands-on already, some early impressions, reviews, what have you, have been coming out from different media outlets of people who've gotten to try Mixer. And so far what I've seen from the things that I've read, it's not really overwhelmingly positive. It's like, yeah, this is cool, but when am I going to use this? And like the big hang up that we've talked about is that if the 4 of us are going to play Horde mode, for example, let's say we, fire up Gears and we play, and we're all streaming from our separate Xbox Ones and we're using Mixer, we can't export that video with all 4 of our windows without having to rebuild it in post, meaning we would have to edit it together, pull all of our separate video feeds down for people who out there who aren't necessarily familiar with video production, the amount of time it takes to download the video, encode the video, render the video, and then re-export the video. I mean, we're talking hours of production time.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. So I think I'm just calling it. They'll have a stage presence. It'll be a thing.
You're 100% right. If Mixer does not make an appearance at E3, I would be shocked.
Right.
Yeah. What about HoloLens?
I think so. Microsoft actually came out this week and said that Xbox VR is not really going to have a presence at E3 this year, which is something that I'm surprised about. It's like it's kind of like now or never is the time to really get into VR. But they are going to continue to promote their mixed reality, which is kind of what HoloLens is. But from everything I've seen from Microsoft, not particularly Xbox, HoloLens is really being pushed and designed, and really like the people who are creating content or the software for HoloLens is all on the business side. It's being used for like business conferencing, video interfacing. Like let's say we're here and like somebody goes to Japan or whatever, and we're like, oh, we want to bring someone like Alexa's like in Japan. We want to bring her into a
Cortana style,
right? Like so, like
we're gonna make you
weird.
What? It's Microsoft.
A small naked lady in a hologram.
Yeah, it's gonna be you.
Yeah,
in blue light.
We're gonna make you a hologram. You don't have to wear a blue bodysuit though, but you do love bodysuits.
I do love bodysuits.
It's like, why are you grossed out by her? She literally like wearing outfits you have. Well, I mean, not literally, but you wear bodysuits. Is my point, and you don't care.
Oh, is this true? Can you confirm or deny?
I mean, I'm in the market for a bodysuit.
All right.
Yes. Anyway, I think HoloLens will probably make some kind of an appearance, but I think that we're going to see it being phased out of gaming and being phased into business.
I just remember their like Minecraft demo.
So
Goodbye
frustrating.
Forever.
Like that demo was not representative of the way it actually is. If anybody out there has actually put a HoloLens on, you know what I'm talking about. But for the vast majority of people who have never picked up a HoloLens, when you're wearing the headset, there is a small field of view. So imagine you put sunglasses on and you can only see like a 2-inch stripe in the middle of your glasses.
Okay.
That's like how big the depth of field is for HoloLens. So when you put it, so when you're wearing these glasses, if you look up or down, you lose the image. So you have to stare in a specific kind of field of view, and it's very small. And the Minecraft demo that they did on stage at E3 made it appear as though it was this like life-size world that you can walk around in.
Right.
And that's just simply false. It's just not the case at all.
Is that a technical limitation?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think the idea of what they represented on stage is really fantastic. And I think the implications for what you can do from an audio-visual perspective, meaning like being able to demonstrate that on a live show at E3, that is cool. But that's not the experience you as a user are going to have. But us watching as they pipe in that augmented reality from a viewer perspective is interesting to watch.
Yeah.
But the user perspective is not the same. And so like if they promote it as like a, hey, this is a cool thing for somebody else to wear and then they can demo something for you, then that's a whole different product altogether than what Oculus or Vive or PSVR are selling to you.
Absolutely.
And that to me is why I don't think HoloLens is ever going to really resonate with gamers, because it's not even close to what these other virtual reality headsets are selling.
Right.
I didn't know that. That was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's frustrating about it, because like the idea of HoloLens is really cool. The tech is really cool. Being able to wear a headset and video conference with someone and having them appear in the room with you is cool, but it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look anything like that.
Would they just be like a tiny little?
Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Well, no, it's not. They're not quite that small. Okay, but like you
really
can't.
Excited for a
it's
minute.
not like they're full size standing next to you. The field. It's like almost like if you were wearing like a visor. Imagine like an old school knight helm.
Okay.
And there was like the little slit for the eyes to protect your
And that's
face.
all you can kind of
That's
like, see
all you
for-
can see
That's a
through.
bummer.
That's what it feels like.
So it looks like you're wearing binoculars, kind of.
Worse.
Oh.
The worst binocular.
Oh, no.
The worst binoculars.
Well-
Anyway, I'm not trying to get down on HoloLens because I think the technology is really fascinating and really cool, and they're going to do great things with it. It's just not what they're representing it to be, and that to me rings false. And I wish that they wouldn't try to sell it for something that it isn't.
That's fair. I would also
Anyway,
like
I'm
that.
not. I'm
We'll
going to
see.
get off my ramble about HoloLens.
The resurrection is scalebound.
No, that's
no,
not
that's
gonna
gone.
happen.
No,
It's
that's
dead
gone. That was a
forever.
Bad joke.
Poor dragons.
I have heard many little birds chirping about what happened with that game, and that game is gone forever.
Wah,
Goodbye
wah.
forever.
Yeah.
Goodbye forever.
Sorry,
Rest in peace,
rip in
cool
peace,
dragons.
Scalebound.
Not the protagonists seem kind of like douchey, but dragons seem cool.
Yay,
I like dragons.
Do you think that somebody's going to be on stage and going to announce some kind of third-party partnership with
They better.
Xbox? Because PlayStation's really been kind of killing
Xbox
it in
needs it.
partnerships. So
They need something.
Who do you think it's going to be? Anybody? Any guesses?
Well, it's not Square because it sounds like the next Tomb Raider will be multi-platform. I don't think they're going to do that again. Not Platinum because they kicked Platinum right to the curb with Scalebound.
Like,
Now,
who's
is
left?
Red Dead Redemption has a exclusivity thing with PlayStation? Not exclusive, but they have a deal with PlayStation, don't they?
GTA 5 had some PlayStation.
I think
partnerships.
Rockstar and PlayStation are buds.
I
They're
don't
buds.
think that Rockstar has announced anything for PlayStation. I don't think PlayStation has announced anything
I think
with
it's-
Red
No,
they
Dead,
haven't.
but
I'm just saying,
They
like
haven't,
in
but
the
it's-
past, Rockstar
they
has
have
worked
done
with
stuff
Yeah,
together.
it's safe to maybe think that if Rockstar is going to go either way, they'll probably lean PlayStation.
yeah.
I'm guessing. Just
how
a
the
guess.
tables have turned. Xbox.
Yeah,
Just
I
a
know.
guess,
I'm trying to
but
think of like who else is out there.
I mean,
Insomniac is doing
there's
Spider-Man.
Ubisoft.
doing Spider-Man.
So, I mean, Ubisoft has shown Assassin's Creed on Xbox's stage before. They've recently been showing it on the PlayStation stage. I don't know if that's an exclusive deal that they have going, but maybe we'll see something with Far Cry or with Assassin's Creed on Xbox's stage.
Far Cry, maybe. Yeah.
You know, I don't know. That's a possibility. What about Bethesda?
EA?
Bethesda partnered with them for Fallout.
They did. Bethesda, maybe something. I don't know.
Honest-
Battlefront 2 would probably lean PlayStation.
Honest question: like, what incentive would they have to partner with Xbox? With
Money.
Sony. Oh, just like money,
Like sheer dollar bills.
Sure.
you
Dollar
the dream.
bills, y'all.
Yeah.
Straight
No,
up
that's literally what all
dollar
partnerships
bills.
are. Is we will give you X amount of dollars, either
Xbox
in
$.
marketing value or in actual money, and then
That makes
let's
sense.
make a deal.
Money talks.
Yeah.
I mean, but like one of the values of partnerships with either platform is not just the money, but it's also the community. So that's why we've seen, EA partner with Xbox with EA Now, or was it EA Access, I think it's called.
Access, yeah.
And so where you can play these games on Xbox first if you pay this subscription fee.
Yep.
And that's because EA has always had a really great relationship with Xbox because sports games in the United States in particular, like Madden, for example, are much more popular on the Xbox platform. Now, internationally, that's not necessarily the case because PlayStation sales numbers are higher internationally than Xboxes are. And we see, games like FIFA have a much larger fan base in Europe than they do in the United States.
Right.
So, but I think, we could potentially see EA come on stage with Need for Speed. They just
Right.
announced, the new one that's coming out. That could maybe be something.
On Xboxes, yeah.
But like, I want to think big. Like
a big exclusive or
yeah,
a big third party.
like a big exclusive or a big third party, like
A platform
partnership,
exclusive.
like Destiny was for PlayStation 4, like that kind of level of big. Can you think
One
of
of the
anything?
Bethesda unannounced maybes, like I don't know, like I don't know what they got. I hope they surprise me with something.
What
I would
about
like to see it.
Capcom? Capcom and Xbox had a partnership with Dead Rising. Could they have something else?
I guess I'm just not that excited about most Capcom things at this point.
I
I said most, not
Monster
all.
Hunter.
Most, not all.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on this one.
Yeah.
If you guys can think of anything huge and large and big, please tell me. But I'm
mean-
drawing a blank. What's that look for, Alexa?
no, I'm thinking because
You're phrasing.
every big third party publisher blew like a giant wad of great games in the past 6 months, and I can't think of anything
Right.
that's outstanding right now.
Right.
Everything came out. except for Crackdown.
That's kind of where I'm at with this E3, which is wonky. Is like, and I mentioned this, I think, on our last podcast, that all of my favorite, not all, but most of my favorite franchises have come out. Oh, Christine has an idea.
I have an idea.
What is it?
But it's not gonna be it at all.
All right, I got
but
a
it's
drink.
something that would be cool, or that they should
Just
try
tell
to do.
us.
The BioWare new IP.
Oh, Dylan.
Don't know what the fuck it is.
Project
but
That would be
Dylan.
awesome.
that would be a good win for Xbox. To
Yeah,
get
That would, yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
because Xbox has paired with BioWare stuff in the past, so that wouldn't be surprising. I mean, obviously, like Mass Effect was on Xbox before it was ever on PlayStation.
Yep,
so
it was published by Microsoft Game Studios.
Yeah.
there you go. All right, well, listen.
Perhaps.
Oh wait, do you have
No,
something?
perhaps that's it.
Oh, okay.
I can't make a
That's the end.
shit.
Well, I think what we're kind of arriving at, the conclusion that we're arriving at, is that Xbox has a lot of unknowns. Obviously, we know Scorpio is going to be a tentpole for them at E3 this year. We're going to hopefully get a price. We're going to hopefully get a release date. We're going to get specs. We're going to see the thing. And then we're going to figure out how it integrates with Windows, gaming on Windows 10. And hopefully some kind of game. Phil Spencer, don't let me down, Phil.
Give us a reason.
Don't let Andrea specifically down.
Yeah, specifically. High hopes.
Also, hi, give us more Fable. Thanks. Bye.
Girl, no.
Drink to Fable.
Girl, no.
All right, we will end this segment with a drink
To Fable.
to Fable. All right, you guys, we will be right back after this break with more of our pre-E3 show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. So now we are doing segment 2 of our pre-E3 show, and this segment we are going to talk about PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Yeah, you're wearing your PlayStation shirt today,
I
Alexa.
my PlayStation wife beater.
I like it. It's very cute.
That is cute. Where'd you get that?
My roommate used to work at PlayStation, and she gave me all the shirts that she no longer needed when she got a new job at Nintendo.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so I took all the PlayStation shirts
Now they're all pajama shirts. That's the way it goes.
and workout shirts. I'm that girl in the gym with like the PlayStation wife beater on the bench press. This is not
Yeah.
the bench press. I don't know what this was.
Well, it
Forget
could be
it.
if you were laying down. Oh, you're never mind. I
No.
thought you were doing this.
I'm
but you're
doing
not.
I'm
Different.
lifting
No.
on the thing.
What's
You're
a good
lifting
workout?
weights.
So
good
ladies, PlayStation, I think, is going to have a lot to show, a lot to talk about this year. So they kind of, released all I think we're going to see from them for hardware for at least the next year or two. Last year we had PS Slim, PS Pro, and PSVR. So we had a lot of hardware. So I don't think that's going to show up for them this year.
New
No
Vita.
handheld.
I'm just kidding.
I don't think so. I mean, I know there was a rumor about, the next whatever Vita is, Vita 2 or anything, but like
The Vita is
I
dead.
have to imagine that they don't want to push more
Don't talk
hardware.
shit about the Vita like
It's
that.
dead, Christine.
I love my Vita,
I love
even
my
though it
Vita
doesn't
too,
work.
but it'd be silly business to freaking put out.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
It would be a really bad business
would be
move.
bad.
But it'd be pretty.
Software wise,
But they have a lot of exclusives. So let's start with what you ladies think we're going to see from their exclusive. Steimer. What's
Detroit.
Yeah?
Well, at least that's the one I want to see.
I want to
the
see
most
that
of.
too.
Yeah.
We haven't heard about it really at all.
Last year they had a decent sized demo.
Right, but like since then.
Oh, since then, yeah,
Nothing.
they've got
It's
a little
been like
quiet.
crickets.
There was the trailer at Paris Games Week that had like how the gameplay
right.
changes, but no, we haven't seen it since then.
I mean, I'm hoping that means that they're just working on it.
It's
Yeah.
a cool premise because I can totally see that being our future.
Oh, totally.
About AI
Yeah.
becoming self-aware, and all of a sudden they're no longer our maids, but these like crazy entities that for some reason must be hunted down and killed. And I like that it's one of those like the many branching storylines. Heavy Rain. Did you guys play Beyond Two Souls, by the way?
Yes.
Yes.
I did not. So I don't. I'm not
I didn't
sure.
like it as much as I liked Heavy Rain.
What a
I did
game.
play Heavy Rain.
What
Which
a
one?
game Beyond Two Souls
Oh, it was very confusing.
What a game.
I feel like you have lots to say about that, but I don't know if we have time to
That's
delve,
a later
to
That'll be
delve
a
into
topic
that.
for some other day.
That's not like a negative or a positive. It's just what a game.
It was
What a
really,
game.
it was real interesting.
Talk about it
Brittany, you okay over
I'm
there?
having mic issues, but it's okay.
Okay, we'll
It's
fix
falling
it.
over.
Alexa.
It's Dad of War.
Yes.
Okay.
Dad of
Tell
War.
us
her.
about Dad of War while I fix Brittany's microphone.
Dad of War. I like to call it Dad of War. I'm really into the daddening of video games. So the daddening of things like The Last of Us was a real
that's a dad game.
daddening game. I loved the God of War games, the first early ones. The last one, God of War Ascension, didn't really tickle my fancy. And I was hoping for the series to come back. So when they showed that trailer last year, I was very shocked to see what is normally like a story about because I
A
played
story about rage.
right, a story about rage and a story about this big beefy guy beating up other big beefy things in just beefy ways, and it's him and this like child. And I think that what that series really needed was a refresh, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're going to change it and it's going to be God of War, but it's going to be a different god and like in Norse mythology." And those are the rumors I kept hearing, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. And I feel like Kratos like he is the face of God of War. He makes God of War. You can't like take it. It's not like Final Fantasy where you can just take the title and transplant it into different worlds.
Right.
So I was not expecting like son of Kratos in the mix there.
Yeah.
So that surprised me, and I'm intrigued by that premise. So that's why I'm excited to see more from it. Also, the combat looked amazing.
Did you hear that there's a dedicated button to interact with your child?
Yes, I did.
What's that going to be like?
I don't know.
Pick him up, throw him,
Pick him up, throw him.
catch him again. Mini game. If he falls, he
Throw
drops
your
you, and he
child.
loses trust with
Pat
you.
him on the head. Tell him he's a good boy.
I'm very excited for this because the other God of War titles, I just can't get into them because it's all so you have to be good with
Super
combos.
big beefy dudes hitting big beefy things.
Well, and that's cool, but I suck at like combos and button mashing.
That's cool, but
No, I really enjoy the first God of War. I have to play on the easiest mode, and even then, I'm absolutely terrible at the game. And so it's kind of a turn off for me because I don't like button mashing. Like I don't get into God of War,
Right.
Bayonetta, not for me.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because this looks like the combat has definitely slowed down.
Yes.
Much more story driven.
Yep.
And there's a kid, a cute little kid, and it's Kratos, Daddy Kratos.
I mean, I don't really care about kids in video games. Like,
You don't care about
To
kids
me-
in general, dude.
well, it's not
That's
that. It's
true.
more that anytime a developer puts a child in the video game, I feel like they're trying to make an emotional pull at me, and I don't like it.
Well, it works.
I don't appreciate it, and it doesn't work on me. I see you.
It works on those of us with hearts, Christine.
No, it's
This
because
is a salty Steimer. Salty
is.
Steimer.
Salty.
well, it was the same way I felt about the kid in Mass Effect 3.
Oh, I forgot about that kid.
And I
no,
was
no,
just-
no. Come
but
on.
no,
The
this
kid in
kid's
Mass Effect
different.
the kid in Mass Effect 3 and this kid
That was
have two completely different levels of importance in the story,
Totally,
right?
Right.
Totally. I'm not trying to argue that. I'm just saying it's I'm just worried that they're gonna, I don't know,
It's
do
the
something with the
daddening.
kid to try and, I don't know.
It's the daddening of video
kid
games.
When you're like supposed to be real sad, and it's like whenever there's a dog in a video game, I'm like, please don't kill the dog. Please just don't kill the dog.
How did you feel about the opening of The Last of Us then? Did that work for you?
I mean, I was sort of sad, but also like she didn't get enough time to develop
Salty Steimer.
for me to really
Salty
be
Steimer.
No
really
empathy.
heartbroken about it. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
I need more time in development, which is why I do think you'll get that with this particular child.
Sure.
It seems like a lot of the game is dedicated around teaching him.
Fair.
Do you think we're going to get a release date?
Yes.
So
When do you think it is?
there was a German retailer. Did you hear about this? The
Oh, boy.
Oh,
The collector's edition was leaked for January 18th, 2018.
Wow.
Now that's like
okay.
a random Thursday, so it's not a Tuesday. So take that for what you will. But that I think is the only like hint we've had as to a release date.
I think Q1 2018 sounds like a good window. Obviously, we saw Horizon Zero Dawn
yep. That
come
did
out
really
in
well.
February of this year, and that was a pretty good window for them. That would make sense. Q1 2018.
I'd be down for that.
I'd be down for that too. Down for Daddy Kratos.
Daddy
Oh, hey.
Kratos.
The daddening.
Do you remember you and I were together last year when the Kratos or when the new God of War was revealed? And I do not care about God of War. Like, because similar thing, as he's screaming all the time. I'm okay with some gore, but God of War it's a bit excessive for me. I don't really like seeing guts ripped apart. So when this one came up, I was freaking out with, like, we were like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that's right. We were together.
We were really stoked. And I definitely want to play this one. So.
Right. And this is the first time I've been genuinely excited for a God of War game because it does look so different. And it is like a refreshment, like you said. So
yeah, the graphics alone, the tone, and like the visual style change really looks intriguing and interesting. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing another gameplay demo of God of War. But Britt, is there any other PlayStation exclusives you are hoping to see on stage?
Well, let me go to my notes. I would love to see something from Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
I don't know
has been quiet
if
for a
we'll
little
hear
bit.
anything. I think the last DLC came out 3 years ago, and that was for
What, First Light?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the last time they've touched like Infamous at all. And so I would love to see. I played the first Infamous, really enjoyed it, which is kind of rare for me because I don't like modern day settings, even though there is kind of that superhero element to it. And then I immediately try to jump from Infamous to Infamous 2, which is a big
But you
mistake.
needed a breather.
I needed a breather, so I never got into it. And then, is it Second Son? Is that the name? Okay, loved that one. It was also cool that it took
was
place
in Seattle.
In Seattle, yeah. And so I'd be like cruising along, and I'd see my freeway exit, and it was like, this is neat. I didn't play I did play the DLC actually.
Did it bother you at all? It didn't bother me like a lot, but I kind of chuckled when they blew up the 520 and they were like, there's no way out. And I was like, Seattle's not an island. That's not how that works. You can very easily leave.
So that's more of a hopeful thing that I would like to see. I'd also like to see some full-fledged PlayStation VR titles, kind of like what they did with Resident Evil 7, how like that's like an actual legit full-length game. That would be awesome. I have a PlayStation VR. Haven't played a lot of it. I'm kind of sick of VR demos in general. I want like a fully immersive.
Give you something actually.
Give me an emotional roller coaster of a story.
Yeah. Did you play Resident Evil 7 like with the thing on your head the whole time?
No. So I played the first time I played. Oh, you were with me by the way during the Resident Evil 7 announcement. Yeah,
we were.
Do you remember that? No, it was
No.
during Sony's press conference.
Oh yeah, no, it was. Yeah. I was like, I was covering. I was like, I don't know what this is, but it looks scary. And I don't want to.
So no, to answer your question, no, I reviewed it non-VR because I was like, I just don't know if I can handle that much VR at a time. I don't want to hinder this experience for the first time.
This is a conversation for another day. So never mind.
Okay.
Oh my.
So no, but I tried it a little bit and it is absolutely terrifying, but it's so good. That's the kind of stuff I would like to see more.
Fair.
Andrea.
Well, the thing that I have been talking about on Twitter and other places that I'm like really looking forward to seeing is Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
Really?
yeah, well, I mean,
It looks fun.
Here's the thing. I love a good superhero experience, and we haven't really had one in a long
Infamous?
time. Well, I mean,
Did you like Infamous?
I did. I really enjoyed Second Son. I thought it was great. I wouldn't necessarily call that superhero because I didn't think he as a character was really redeeming.
You mean like
Sure,
a
he's not a
DC
hero,
game?
but
Yeah,
he's got
right.
superpowers.
It doesn't necessarily need to be from, like the stable of comic book heroes that are already in existence. It could be somebody fresh and new. But I think what looks exciting about about Spider-Man, is that I really enjoyed the mechanics, the open world movement mechanics in Sunset Overdrive that Insomniac created. I don't know if you guys
Sunset Overdrive
great.
was super fun.
It was awesome. And if you guys have never played this game on Xbox One, it is fantastic. It was really underrated, I thought. It didn't get nearly the praise that it deserved. And so if that's any indication of the kind of movement that we can expect in this new Spider-Man game, that's really exciting. I think the footage that we saw last year looked fantastic. I think this is a home run partnership for PlayStation, working with the studio, with the pedigree that Insomniac Games has, with a hero that's as popular as Spider-Man is. Like, the expectations now are unfortunately really high.
Yeah, don't fuck it up.
And I wish I could lower them, but I can't because I'm just really pumped about it. And I'm excited to see more. And I think that it could be really cool. And I have to imagine we're going to see something. I did talk to Ted Price, the head of Insomniac, at the Game Awards in December of last year. And I kind of was like, hey, can you tell me what's happening with Spider-Man? And he was like, nope.
That man never ages.
I know, right?
He's like the fountain of youth of game developers.
That's true. He's looked the same.
He's a magical man.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed that Spider-Man will be there. Obviously, have a stage presence at the showcase. So, as someone who really isn't into superhero like video games, what would make an amazing superhero game for you? Like, what do you need?
I need a great story. I need incredible animation in the cutscenes and really rewarding combat mechanics. And I think the last superhero game that really did it for me was the Arkham series from Rocksteady. I think they nailed it with Batman and the combat in Batman and the traversal around, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, all the different spaces in and around, those worlds were really interesting to explore and go to. And I thought that, we could debate about the narrative in all three of those games and which one's better, which pieces we could do without. But I think overall, that's kind of the gold standard for open world superhero games. Yep. And I would like to see somebody take up the mantle and say, hey, we're going to make the next big
Well, also, game. The last thing we got was Batman. Batman's super dark. Like those stories are always really heavy.
Right.
Spider-Man is a much lighter character. So like it will be more like, hey guys, what's going on? I'm Spider-Man. Like that sort of a thing.
Is that
Perfect?
Yeah, that's
I
my
like your
Spider-Man
version of Spider-Man
impression.
much better than actual Spider-Man, actually.
Cast me in the movies. I'll be Spider-Girl. But so I think it will be a more uplifting, like happy-go-lucky sort of a thing.
What about Death Stranding?
Do you think we're actually going to see something substantial from that?
I don't think so.
No, it's been real.
Kojima and
early.
Friends. Is it though? We've gotten a very significant trailer at every major event. They announced it last year at E3, and then we had that really amazing VGA trailer featuring Mr. Del Toro and Mr. Mickelson.
But that's because Jeff and Kojima are like best bros.
And I was going to say, they could be just working on, because often what developers do, I don't know if this is the case for this game, but for a game or for an announcement like E3, they just have people working on the thing for E3. It's not actually related to building the entire game.
Right.
So I'm thinking might be the case with this, because I can't imagine they had enough time to really build out a game yet for Death Stranding. Well, so they're probably just like, make a really kick-ass E3 trailer. Cool. Yeah. Make a really kick-ass demo. Where was that demo we saw? It was the longer one where the guy's like moving around in the sewer.
That was at VGA's.
Was it VGA's?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's right, it was.
Oh, I thought it was at PSX. It was at the VGA's?
It was at the Game Awards because I was sitting 6 rows behind Kojima, tweeted about feeling the magic rolling off Kojima, and he retweeted me.
What?
Claim to fame.
He favorited it and retweeted it.
I noticed me.
And I was just like, oh, okay, so I'll forever remember that night. No, that was like a real, maybe I think we'll get something of that caliber. Maybe not another 10-minute like Amazeballs fest, but maybe like something small that demonstrates another aesthetic of the game.
Yeah, I think we'll get something about it. I just don't expect the game anytime soon.
Nothing valuable.
That's okay. Take your time. Take your time, Kojima.
So resident zombie fan. What do you think about Days Gone from Ben? Do you think that that's going to come back? Are you excited about this game?
No.
You're not the resident zombie fan.
Don't care how to say it.
No, please talk about it. I would love to hear what you have to say.
I'm tired. I don't really have anything to explain. I'm just tired of zombies. Just straight up tired of zombies. I think they're overdone.
There's a lot of them.
You can put them on a motorcycle. I don't care.
Don't care.
Put them... I would actually like to see a zombie drive a motorcycle.
Like maybe I don't know. Like maybe the mechanics will grab me later. Maybe I'll hear people talking about it and try it out. Maybe there'll be an awesome demo. But I'm just done with zombies.
You don't want hordes of zombies?
No.
Hordes and hordes of zombies?
I'm just done. They're so played out.
So anything zombies, I'm totally into, because I'm still waiting for that one zombie title to like just fucking nail it. Like truly give me the survival horror, make me feel like I have to raid shops and truly survive, and give me co-op. I would love to do a zombie survival game. Co-op.
Isn't that State of Decay kind of a little bit?
State of Decay 2 does have co-op. The first State of Decay did not. And that's one of the reasons why I love Dying Light, is because it is this open world survival horror sandbox with co-op, which is amazing. So I'm all for all the zombie games. I like experiencing like what they do right, what they do wrong, what did the zombie game get, and then I like to in my head mesh them all together into Bert's perfect zombie game and then grab elements from all of them. Speaking of zombies, though, even though Resident Evil really isn't zombie-like anymore, I'm hoping we'll see something on the new DLC that's been delayed.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's been delayed, and I won't spoil it because it's an epic spoiler, but the DLC should shed light on a very, very, very important thing that's very, very important to Resident Evil lore and fans. So
Very, very important.
very, very, very important.
Is it the finger? What?
What?
I have no idea what you're talking about. You're just like the
The kitchen demo is like the...
Yeah, the finger.
That's so irrelevant right now, sweetheart. The finger... Unless,
You know nothing, Jon
unless you're
Snow.
thinking of it. No. Maybe we'll need to talk so we don't...
We need. I don't know why you're laughing at me. I'm genuinely really confused. We'll talk about this later.
We'll talk about it. Anyway, there's just a major character.
Okay, never
Is
mind.
the character called the Finger?
I mean, unless I'm... Yeah, we'll have a whole finger segment.
okay.
Alexa,
we're gonna have a whole
think-
finger segment.
We'll see anything on the Final Fantasy VII.
No.
Kingdom Hearts.
No
Do they not
way,
even get
dude.
like a doofy trailer?
No, we're not gonna get anything. I don't think we're gonna get shit. The only reason that Square Enix announces bad news 3 weeks before a major convention is because they have nothing.
Announces bad news. Bad news bears.
We're not getting Final Fantasy VII Remake or Kingdom Hearts 3 for at least 3 years. I swear to God, they only do that when they're not going to have anything. So they get ahead of the don't expect us without actually saying they're not going to have
That's
anything.
a good point.
Yeah, it's
If we have a trailer for either one of those games, I will get my tiny Kingdom Hearts branded tiny violin. I will like jump off of the roof of the Staples Center if there is
Please
a trailer
don't.
for either.
Please don't. We don't have insurance
Oh
yet.
dear. Yeah.
There isn't.
I'm with you. I think
there isn't. There can't
Square Enix has publicly kind of said that they're not going to have a big presence at E3 this year, and they do have a couple other titles, like the racing titles and some mobile stuff that they're going to be talking about. But I mean, I think we knew that we weren't going to see either of those titles. I was hoping, that they would bring Shadow of the Tomb Raider because we saw the leak about that title. If anywhere though, we wouldn't see it at PlayStation. We would probably see it on the Xbox stage. But
That game is turbo way off.
yeah,
I was
it
gonna
does.
say they've been like pumping those out.
It does feel like it's quite a ways away. But the thing that I hope we get to see that would make sense for them to talk about at this time is DLC for Horizon. So Horizon Zero Dawn sales numbers they announced this week 3.4 million units, which is great.
Congrats.
For a console exclusive, that's fantastic. And I really love that game so far. It's still my game of the year.
Yep.
Haven't seen anything that's gonna beat it yet. And now with Red Dead pushing to 2018,
Has a really good shot.
it has a good shot. Obviously, yours is Zelda, and a lot of other people's is Zelda. We can talk about that much later in the year. But I think it makes sense, and now's the time for them to do some DLC announcements. If they're going to do them, I don't know why they would want to wait all the way until PSX. I mean, potentially they could announce at Gamescom, I guess. But I think E3 seems like the right time to do
Well,
that.
they'll also probably, speaking of DLC, Uncharted, like that. That's
the
coming out
Lost
on
Legacy.
this.
We'll see Lost Legacy
Yeah,
on stage
that'll be there for sure.
What about The Last of Us 2?
I think that's going to be too early.
Yeah, I think
even-
it's
They
a
said
ways
that
away.
game is a long way
Not
away.
even a trailer?
I don't
There
think
might
so.
be a teaser because
Yeah.
if you're gonna drop a teaser anywhere, this would be a good spot. But like what we saw at PSX was like so short.
Yeah.
And Neil Druckmann kind of came out and was like, "This is like the tiniest of sneak peeks. We are like really far away from having
I think they
any
just
announcements."
announced it so that they wouldn't have a leak eventually.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. What else did they announce last year? PlayStation ate everyone's lunch in terms of game announcements.
Well, the
at
Final
E3 last
Fantasy
year.
7,
Yeah, goodbye forever.
that was big news last year. Shenmue
Yeah.
3, which we will not see this year.
That was
no.
like 2 years ago, right?
Was
Yeah.
it?
2 years ago was
Final Fantasy
2 years ago. 2 years ago was the trifecta of Final Fantasy 7 remake, Shenmue 3, and then The Last Guardian, like one
yeah,
after
that's
the
Oh,
right.
other.
yeah, you're right. We
Yeah.
did actually get Last Guardian, so
Eventually.
Finally.
some positivity.
Oh, we forgot Knack 2.
Oh.
Did we though?
I have deep problems. Okay, I have deep problems with Knack.
Well, I think you're not
Knack was
alone.
like not the best game, and then for like years, I made stupid jokes about when are we getting Knack 2, and then they announced it, and I was like, God damn it. It's actually a thing. So
You made it happen. You were putting that energy out into the universe.
It's my fault.
It won't happen, but I always have to have it memorialized somewhere. Dark Cloud 3.
You're so funny.
Woo. Woo.
I know, it's good. Level 5. Wait a minute. Level 5.
Level 5 is doing Nino Kuni 2, and then is it Yokai Watch?
Ooh,
the other one they
will that be there?
I mean, probably another
PlayStation
Yokai
stage?
Watch because it's their Pokemon.
Yeah, Yokai Watch we won't see on stage.
No,
but
no.
Nino Kuni we could potentially see on stage.
I have
for
an
sure.
appointment, and that's not confidential or anything, so I'll be seeing that. Yay.
You're like,
Not Dark
I'm gonna
Cloud
see
3, but
it.
it's okay.
Do you think we're going to get any surprise announcements from PlayStation this year?
Yeah, Final Fantasy IX Remaster.
I fucking wish.
Sorry.
Objectively the best of the modern Final Fantasies. Objectively the best. I don't know. Like, what else can Square Enix remaster at this point?
Is the Twisted Metal series still a thing that exists?
Oh.
It's been a long time since
David
we've had an
Jaffe's doing
announcement.
Drawn to Death.
Yeah, I don't
They did something.
think so.
I can't remember.
That's just like a far away hope and dream.
What about GT Sport? You think that game's ever coming out? Gran Turismo.
that'll be like 10
Are you guys
minutes.
looking at me like you have no idea what I'm talking about?
I know that
There's
there's
just
I know
no
Gran
excitement there.
Turismo, but I
What's
do
a
not
car?
care.
What other Sony first party, second party studios haven't announced anything recently that have been quiet in the past couple of years? Because maybe
Sucker
They're
Punch is the
ramping
only
up.
one that's been quiet for a while,
Sucker Punch.
which we already mentioned. So.
Yeah. I'm very, very excited for this press conference. I'm very, very excited.
But I do feel like there can't be that many. I mean, I guess there should be, but I'm just like you had mentioned earlier, like a lot of wads have been blown already. Like, you know, like, so there's
Wads have
already,
been blown.
it's been a lot. There's been a lot of stuff. So I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if this E3 was a little less intense maybe than past ones.
Right.
We'll see.
But we'll see. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I'm just like, whoa.
And you and I will be there for the journey
We will.
for every
we
press
certainly
conference.
have left some stuff on the table, but we can't talk this entire show about PlayStation. We have Nintendo to talk about, and then we have the best of the rest. That includes Bethesda, EA, Ubisoft, and some others. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stick with us. We are going to take a short break on this pre-E3 show for you. Then we'll be right back to talk about Nintendo.
I'm out of drink.
Welcome back, everybody. It is segment 3 of our pre-E3 show, and now we are going to be talking about the wild card. Oh yeah, that fan is on. We should probably turn that off, huh?
Thanks, Stymie.
Good job, Simey. Simelot.
Nintendo.
Stymalot. Lady Stymalot.
There you go.
First that
You
I
got it.
That is the jankest Triforce I've ever seen.
wait.
So beautiful.
It's pretty jank. It's okay.
Can't see it, but
Drawing geometric shapes is sometimes difficult. So Nintendo, they've been marching to the beat of their own drum at E3 for the last 5 years or so, since they stopped making
been
press
that long?
conferences. Yeah, it's been a while.
I know. Time flies.
I think the last on-stage press conference I saw was when they announced the Wii U.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they had the Nintendo Land display. Remember that castle stand-up shenanigans? And it was awkward. Yeah.
I do recall.
It's awkward. That should be Nintendo's E3 hashtag.
Please ignore the awkward.
So last year they went all Zelda all the time. Their entire E3 floor presence was this beautiful Zelda land. And it was great. And clearly it was a huge success for them when Zelda launched earlier this year. It's been helping them sell Switches, and I think that they're probably going to do something different this year. I don't think they're going to double down on one IP. So what IPs can we expect? Brittany, as our resident Zelda, or excuse me, our resident Nintendo expert. Well, you're also the Zelda expert.
I am joined by my resident Nintendo expert, Alexa, too.
I go with Fire Emblem Ho more than I go with Nintendo expert, but I'll take
Fair
it.
enough. So we have Super Mario Odyssey. I know you have very, very strong feelings about the hat.
If that hat talks, I'm out.
Yeah? Why?
Has it been proven to talk?
I don't think so.
If the hat talks, I'm out. I just can't. I have a threshold, and talking hat is right above it.
Does the hat look like it will talk?
Talking hat.
It has eyes.
I know. It's coming from the girl that likes Taiwanese glove puppetry and her, and whose PSN name is like a female slur name and chocobo
And who likes
mashed
a
together.
dude that wears a pot on his head?
And I like dudes that wear pots on their heads. Yeah, okay.
So you have some splaining to do.
I understand that like Mario has his like thing that like the Mario formula has thing as a guide or like external
Like the
human
star.
that's a guide. Like the star.
I don't remember
like
its name.
The hose thing. In
the Super Mario,
Sunshine.
the hose.
Hose
The
thing.
hose in Sunshine also spoke. And it was strange. But the hat,
Maybe Mario's just really high.
something about, I mean,
there is like a talking hammer in
having
Paper Mario.
Yeah,
So.
but having a piece of equipment that like is also sentient, I can deal. Okay, that's fine. It's a piece of equipment. Having something like a star be sentient, okay, that's like actually pretty adorable. But like something you wear.
So do you not like Harry Potter?
No, I'm actually not a Harry Potter fan.
Oh my God, we can't be friends.
Alexa,
that's
I'm just gonna pretend you didn't say that. We don't have time to dig into what you just said
I enjoy
during
Harry
our
Potter.
E3 show.
I enjoy Harry Potter, but it's not my cup of tea.
Okay.
But there's something about a wearable that goes on your body that also has eyes and can talk to you. I can't do it. Like, what's next? Pants?
So you do not like Labyrinth either because there's a talking hat in that.
Labyrinth is different. Labyrinth is like on a whole nother
Now
level.
you're just.
I'm just breaking out all of the talking
being
hats
fresh.
that I can
some
think of.
very specific rules, and if that hat talks, whatever.
Okay.
We'll see.
I love the Mario 3D platformers, and this looks like it's going in a new direction. Now, we haven't seen anything else, have we, since that reveal trailer?
No, just New Donk City.
I didn't even watch it. I didn't know it was, I mean, I've heard you talk about it.
What?
What'd you say?
New Donk City. That's the name of one of the cities in the game.
New Dog City?
It sounds like
New Donk City.
Donk.
Yeah.
Okay,
Donk.
not dog.
I would love to see co-op incorporated into that game. I like, Super Mario 3D World for Wii U, whatever the fuck the name of that game was. The 3D platformer that had cooperative.
Super Mario.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the
Super Mario
3DS
Brothers.
port.
Super Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
New
fantastic.
Super Mario Brothers U.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
That was
I can't keep
different.
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't keep
Where
the
you
title straight.
would be in a bubble if you died and then
Yes.
you just float
You
along.
always,
Yes.
You're always in a bubble if you die.
Yeah.
That's
well,
deep shit.
That was good co-op though.
No, that was fantastic. And so I would like to see something with this. Maybe the hat will be part of the co-op aspect of it.
I don't want to play as the hat.
Okay. So besides Mario, there's the Mario and Rabbids game. Are you excited for this?
Yes, I
Please talk about
love Rabbids. So we don't know about this. It hasn't been we haven't seen anything yet. We don't know if it's going to show up on Ubisoft stage or if it's going to show up in Nintendo's Direct on Tuesday morning. But essentially, it's kind of like the concept of the game is interesting. So have you guys, who here has played a Rabbids game?
me.
They're fun.
Okay,
super
so
fun.
Britt
threw a
has
cow.
not played
Not.
a Rabbids game. So I
There's a
think
cow
what I'm
going
going to
thing.
have to do is I might have to dig out my Wii and we might have to play Raving Rabbids TV Party on one of our
Yay.
streams because it's 4-player co-op and it's amazing.
I would love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually need to look and see if that's on Virtual Console. But so this game, so the Rabbids are these like demented bunnies that have their own TV show now, and they're hysterical and they are really funny, and they are pairing up with Mario. And in the key art that we have seen, it's like a rabbit in like a Princess Peach outfit.
It's ridiculous.
And Mario's got a little cannon, Yoshi's got a cannon, and Luigi's derping in the background as per usual.
Poor Luigi.
So how is this game going to work, you think?
Is it just going to be Rabbids mini games, but with the Nintendo characters?
That'd be cool.
So according to this article that I'm looking at on Polygon, the first slide suggests that Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle will have a 65-35 balance of turn-based fighting and exploration. So according to this piece of art that showed up on Nintendo World Report, the exploration includes 4 world environments to discover, control of Tutorio, with no direct control of heroes, puzzles and secret zones, Twisted Mario's world full of Easter eggs. And the turn-based combat section of the game has unique hero playstyles, tactical options, dash, team jumps, warp pipes, destructible covers, etc. So, upgradable collectible weapons, a variety of combat objectives and contextual events, 7 enemy archetypes, 1 boss and mid-boss per world, and multiplayer co-op.
Am I the only one who's fucking confused?
You know what this sounds like? Yeah. This sounds like the freaking the Mario RPGs on the 3DS. That's what this sounds like.
Oh,
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
So, okay.
But with Rabbids.
But with the Rabbids.
The Rabbids, are those games primarily mini games?
Yes.
Okay, so that's all they ever are. They don't have like a huge story lore.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Story is they're rabbits and they're crazy.
So they're taking Mario, like Paper Mario, Mario RPG, adding Rabbids, and then making it into like a full-fledged action adventure or like exploration RPG sort of kind of game?
I have no idea.
Well, great. It sounds intriguing. I mean, I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, I like mini games, and Switch is designed really for mini games.
Yeah.
So I think we're probably going to see a lot about this. I think also we are going to maybe see some other Nintendo franchises that were really big on 3DS or Wii U being ported to Switch. Any thoughts, ladies, about which ones we're going to see? I have already come out and said I would like to be the one to say that I said Smash Bros. Is coming to Switch.
Oh,
I mean,
who
it has to.
hasn't said that?
Well, whatever. I'm taking credit.
God damn it, Andrea.
If it happens, it was all due to me.
I know. I'm taking the cheap shots where I can get them, okay?
I have been beating this drum since the Wii U was announced, and I'm going to beat it even harder now that the Switch is out.
Phrasing.
Those gonna beat it so hard. This game was made for something like the Wii U, and now that it's a Wii U type thing that's portable, it would be perfect for Switch. Pokemon Snap Switch.
No. Pokemon Snap 2 needs to be integrated to the Pokemon Switch title.
And then it can be...
Or would you rather see a standalone Pokemon Snap game?
I think a standalone Pokemon Snap game would be the thing that would bring in the people that are too old and jaded to play an actual Pokemon game, but will actually sit down and play something like Snap.
She's pointing at herself to people who are listening.
I am pointing at myself. I don't have the patience to get into an actual Pokemon RPG again. Pokemon Snap on the Switch, I feel like for the people that pick that console up for like the Mario Karts and like the Rabbids mini games and the 1-2 Switch and Splatoon and stuff like that, I feel like that would fit into that demographic of people. I feel like now is the time. Why don't you ever listen to me, Nintendo? It's been like 6 years.
Been time since the Nintendo 64. I've wanted that damn thing for so long.
Pokemon Snap is so simple and so good.
Pokemon Sun and Moon, I think these were the first games that did this. I had a fun little mini Pokemon Snap kind of super shallow experience. You know what I'm talking about in it? That was cool. But I would love to see Pokemon Snap as well. But more than that, I'd love to see, and this is why I was so disappointed today by Nintendo's Pokemon Nintendo Direct. Although I should have had tempered expectations. I get excited every time they mention these things, and then I'm heartbroken. I would love to see a full-fledged, like, take the Pokemon formula that's on handhelds, because I think it's fine, but upgrade it and make it optimized for a console. Give us, like, Breath of the Wild sprawling lands with towns full of NPCs and side quests and multiplayer. Like, have hubs where people can meet up and trade, where you actually see like the avatars walking around. Do all of these things, and I can't believe it has not been done yet. So I'm going to not take the easy route like Miss Little Andrea over here. And
oh dear.
Shots fired.
No, okay. Snap.
I would love to see a Pokemon game on the Switch. Is kind of what I'm trying to say.
So when you say a Pokemon game, I mean, we obviously heard today that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is coming for 3DS, and there was a little graphic that was up very briefly that said a TBA release date for the Switch. Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about like an original Pokemon game.
Okay, so I would ideally like an original Pokemon game, but I will take what I can get. And if I have to take kind of I don't want to say half-assed, that's not the word I was trying to think of, a sort of kind of port of an already existing Pokemon game to Switch, that's fine because I think it'll perform really well. And I think that would maybe be the feedback that Nintendo needs and all of the other associated parties to make an original game.
I don't think that would be the feedback that they would need. That just means keep making the same thing over and over again because people keep buying it.
Well, it works.
Well, what I'm saying is I think it would sell really well. I think it would be a system seller to an extent. And that's,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's just any positive reinforcement. Because I feel like if you work at Nintendo, you have to be like, how do you not think this would be a good idea? Like, why haven't you done it yet? So if anything like enforces that, I'm all for it.
How did you play Pokken Tournament at all?
No, it's not my kind of thing.
No, why not?
I don't like fighting games.
That's fair. It basically is Tekken with Pokemon.
Yeah, I like the Pokemon Stadium games a little bit on N64.
It's not like Pokemon Stadium at all.
So that's why I'm not even that interested in it.
I thought they were... I thought the game was interesting. They just announced Pokken Tournament XD for the Switch.
Right.
When I was in Japan last fall, they had the Pokken arcade machines up, and nobody was really playing them. They weren't that popular, so I don't know how well it did. Maybe it did better in America if we're getting the Switch version. On that note, I feel like Nintendo is going very hard into esports this year, which like feels a little strange to me because their big trifecta, in addition to Super Mario Odyssey, is ARMS, Splatoon 2, and then Pokken Tournament. And then they have that giant Splatoon tournament happening during E3.
They're also doing an ARMS Invitational as well. I think the word esports is maybe used a little loosely in this context.
I mean, it is Nintendo.
Right. Obviously. I mean,
esports.
And I think the only esport that Nintendo has ever really dabbled in, and quite frankly, Nintendo's never really dabbled in it, was Smash. And Smash has always been a grassroots, community-led esports scene. I mean, Nintendo's really never gave it the support that it deserves, which is sad in a variety of ways. But I like that they're putting on a tournament. You know, we've seen them do invitationals and tournaments the last couple of E3s. I think it'll be great to see how people respond to ARMS in particular. We already know people love Splatoon. But I don't see the Switch as a machine that's going to drive a competitive market. I mean, it's just not powerful enough to really do that kind of performance that esports players are looking for.
Maybe esports was the wrong way to put it, but they definitely want this to be the console. Like, they want everyone to be Karen from that damn commercial. They want you to show up at the party with your Switch.
We did it. We were there. Our friend Cade had the Switch at a bar outside, and we played it while we were drinking beers, and like we tweeted about it, and everyone was like, "Where's Karen?" And it was the weirdest thing.
We're all Karen now,
so
Andrea.
funny.
We're all Karen now. But like, that's it. They want people to bring their Switches to their friend's house and like play Splatoon or play, ARMS or like, do it in a bar.
If only we didn't get Raptor claws.
I was about to say
the Joy-Cons.
Raptor hands.
Joy-Cons are
Some of us have
awful.
Raptor hands and can't use those little controllers.
I have tiny hands and I can barely use those controllers.
Oh my God.
Do you guys think, not to like completely shift gears, but do you think we're going to see a new Animal Crossing announcement?
Totally thought you said Anal Crossing.
I heard Anal Crossing as well.
Animal.
That is a very different game.
Animal Crossing.
I'm glad you said something.
Oh my God.
I bet there's because what's Rule 34? If something exists, there's a porn of it. They have Overwatch porn. There's got to be an Animal Crossing,
Overwatch
Crossing porn somewhere.
Oh,
I have no doubt.
Please, nobody send this to us.
No, we
Please.
do
I don't want to.
Yeah, nobody animate this, please.
I have never played an Animal Crossing game. However, I feel like it's a game I would thoroughly enjoy.
Oh, sweetie, yes. It's a good slowdown from everything else.
That's what Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon is for me, though.
Yeah, see, you love Harvest Moon and Story of Season, so I feel like you'd like an Animal Crossing. Maybe the older ones more than the new one, but you should give it a try. They have to. If they have, like, the Switches,
When did the last
portable.
one come out?
A couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
3DS, like, shortly after the 3DS came out, maybe the year after.
I just know that like I have friends still playing it, so I wasn't sure when it actually came out.
Oh, yeah. It's a couple of years old. And then they had the, like, special interior decorator one that was just decorating the inside and outside of houses.
I'd be down for that. I like the Sims building.
Yeah, you'd probably like Animal Crossing New Leaf Happy Home Designer. You'd probably like it. It sounds like you were Speed.
Designer.
Happy home designer.
A whole new world for Steimer.
Oh my God. It's not salty enough for me. Sorry.
It's not. Well, no.
I need miserable home designer.
There's a couple of really cranky ass animals in that game.
I know the Tom Nook, the asshole of the generation.
Oh yeah, who's like sold you into slave labor. We can get into the Animal Crossing lore at some other point. But I feel like they have to. It did so well. They have a new console. People can bring it places, so you can bring your weird home or whatever the heck it is this time around with you wherever you go. They have to. It's a moneymaker.
A Metroid. I'm not a Metroid fan. Throwing that out there.
It's been a little while.
No.
I mean,
But yeah, I don't know.
I think that's a pipe dream. I think all of us would love to see Metroid on Switch, a new generation Metroid, especially after the reception that Zelda got. But I think it's
not been
hoping
enough
for
time,
too much.
or do you think they're not going to do it? What are the...
I don't think anyone at Nintendo actually wants to make another Metroid game.
I think that's the
Oh, really?
problem.
It would make too much sense, you see.
Yeah.
Well, not. It's not that. So the thing with these companies and like, okay, Square Enix and Final Fantasy VII Remake is a really good example. They had no intention of ever making a Final Fantasy VII Remake, but they put out a tech demo and kind of shot themselves in the foot because the internet whipped themselves into a fervor being like, you made the tech demo, you have the technology, all you have to do is just remake this entire game from scratch in a way that we want, which is like a full sprawling thing. So then they committed to it, and then they said, actually, it's going to be more narrative based with combat sections. I'm totally fine with that. That sounds cool. That's a new telling of the story, but that's not what people asked for. They wanted the complete remake. And Square didn't have to do it. They probably shouldn't have. There's no one left at that company that wants to make that game. They all want to make Final Fantasy 16 and make the spin-offs like World of Final Fantasy, and they want to move on to other projects. Like they now are spinning up Dragon Quest like really hard. And that's what they want to do. Nobody wanted to remake Final Fantasy VII. Nomura hasn't touched a Final Fantasy since they pulled him off Versus 13. So nobody wanted to do it, and they committed to doing it because they saw, okay, maybe that's where the money is. But they're not doing it the way that people want it. They'll never make them happy. And I feel like that's the same situation with Metroid in that, yeah, everyone is like, oh, it makes so much sense for them to make a Metroid because people want it. But do people really want it, and will it sell? And do the people in Nintendo really want to make it? And do they have the resources to make it in the way that the audience wants it? So what the audience is asking for and what they actually have the resources to make are probably different, and they'll never make anyone happy. And I actually think Nintendo was very wise to just not do anything. Money-wise, I mean, I'm sad. I would really like a new Metroid. I miss Samus and all that. But like financially, it's the best decision for them to just completely ignore it.
Fascinating. I, as someone who's not really a big Metroid fan, like all I hear are the cries of people who are like, Metroid, give it to us.
I don't understand what you're saying, because they do this all the time with every other franchise. Like Mario, how many fucking games does Mario have? Granted, they're all different. I'm not saying every Mario game's the same, or Zelda. Zelda's a formula that has gone on for the end of time, and so it's like, why would Metroid be a game that they don't want to play or don't want to make?
Because those two IPs are the most well-known video game IPs in the world. Like,
sure, but I feel like Metroid's
time.
Not that far down from them.
It is. If you think about
Is it?
Yeah,
It is.
think about worldwide global recognition. If you put up an image of Mario,
Well, sure. Everybody knows Mario.
like 99.9% of people know who Mario is. If you put up an image of Link, 50% of people think it's Zelda, but the other 50% know that it's Link.
true.
And
I'm going to have a boy child and
before.
name him Zelda.
Oh, he will hate you forever.
Just to be salty.
If you put up an image of Samus, probably the majority of people who see it will have no idea who she is.
Is that Peach?
Or they don't even know that it's a woman under the armor, right? Because we've only seen her, her face in a couple of the games. Like Metroid is something that Nintendo fans are crying for and would love, but like when you talk about worldwide recognition and what that means for global sales, and ultimately what it comes down to is development costs, and like, can they recoup the development costs?
Yep.
It just doesn't make sense. Alexa, you were spot on in saying like financially, like Nintendo does not have an incentive to make the Metroid
Did the
game
last
that the fans
Metroid
want.
not sell very well?
The last Metroid was garbage.
Yeah,
Don't play
It was a
Metroid.
really weird. It was not. It was Metroid only in name. Like the experience was not really Metroid, and it was very disappointing for a lot of fans. So Metroid is like kind of down there, not as far down as Fire Emblem though, which boggles my mind.
But they keep making new
because
ones.
that series, yes, because now it's a horny casino. It went from just being a strategy game.
Please explain that to me. You tweeted about this horny casino, and I want to understand it.
It's a horny casino. So Fire Emblem strategy game, out on all the consoles, was a Nintendo staple for a long time, made by a little studio called Intelligent Systems. And it went away for a while. And as the studio tells the story, Fire Emblem Awakening, which came out in 2013 for the 3DS, because it's a good portable game, was supposed to be the last Fire Emblem. Intelligent Systems was like, all right, this is it. They supported development on Xenoblade Chronicles Cross, which they were also working on at the time. And they were like, this is it. This is going to be the last one. We're going to go all in on story. Beautiful cutscenes, 20 billion characters, all of them devastatingly beautiful. Let's do it. And Awakening sold so well. They were like, oh shit, this isn't the last Fire Emblem game, because they saw where the money was. So they made Fates, and I loved Fates because I'm a giant weeaboo and I buy into that like really like heavy, like emotional, like, stories. And they made 3 versions of that game, and that game sold, I think, in its first couple weeks, like outsold Awakening's first couple months. So Fates did fantastic, and then they put out the mobile game, and the mobile game, even though the downloads are 1/10 of Super Mario Run, its revenue is like 10 times bigger.
It's because you can't get your boyfriend.
It's because I can't get my boyfriend. I spent another $20 in there the other day. Because my actual real life living, breathing, flesh and blood boyfriend drew the character I wanted twice in front of me.
I was there when it happened for the first time.
I'm surprised he's
and
still
I thought she was
alive.
going to lose
It was
her
at my damn birthday party too.
It did happen on your birthday.
I was so angry. I'm getting all sweaty. I'm so angry about it. God. So like,
Jesus hates you.
Do you need a hair tie?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm just gonna hold my wine to my face. So So
logic.
They are capitalizing. I mean, like the strategy in those games are really good. There's a bunch of difficulty levels. Map's really challenging. So like the gameplay challenge is there. And there's like a bunch of different difficulty levels. You can play it on permadeath, which is like the classic way for those games. So there is some like a lot of strategy and a lot of depth to the actual core gameplay. But they're definitely catering it to the people like me that are like into those weeaboo games and into those like those really Japanesey, emotional, epic, sprawling fantasy stories. And those people are buying those games. And I guess that's why that series is making a comeback.
The Horny Casino.
The Horny Casino. They have, not only do we have our Horny Casino mobile game and our recent Horny Casino 3DS release, but we have, they announced a Fire Emblem for the Switch, an entirely new game for the Switch. I hope it uses some sort of multiplayer because the other ones don't really have multiplayer. And then they announced a Dynasty Warriors spinoff. Like in the vein of Hyrule Warriors. It's a Fire Emblem Dynasty Warriors spinoff.
What characters are they going to use? Just like all of them?
They showed
so many pots on heads.
Yeah. I know all the people with the pots in their heads, which is Donnie, by the way. They just showed Chrom like picking his sword up, and it was like Fire Emblem Warriors, and it was I didn't like Hyrule Warriors. I will play this game anyway because all my husbandos are in it.
Well,
I went on another Fire Emblem tangent. I'm very sorry.
You did, and I thought Steimer was going to fall asleep there for a little bit. She's like, "Oh my god, Fire Emblem!"
But with all that passion, how can you fall asleep?
Exactly. Well, listen, there's definitely a lot more to talk about when it specifically comes to Nintendo, but we'll have to wait to see what they show at their Direct next week. We are getting to the last segment of our pre-E3 show, and when we come back after this quick break, we'll be talking about the best of the rest. There's a lot of third-party publishers out there who are hopefully going to have some cool things to talk about, and we're going to speculate. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the fourth segment of our pre-E3 extravaganza, E3-a-palooza, whatever you want to call it. So,
I like that.
E3-a-palooza?
Yeah.
Thanks. So now we are going to be talking about some of the other press conferences we're going to see starting on Saturday with EA Play. Then we've got Bethesda, their showcases on Sunday night. And then we've got Ubisoft in their traditional time slot on Monday afternoon. So these are the three kind of big third-party publishers that sometimes will do exclusives, as we've seen. Sometimes they don't. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what we hear from EA. So they've publicly said, we're going to see the sports. We're going to see FIFA. We're going to see Madden. We're going to see... Steimer's like, wait, we're talking about sports already?
I'm right here with you, girl.
Okay, so we'll skip the sports because if you guys are really into sports video games, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but none of us really play sports video games, so you might need to outsource that commentary from a different show.
Don't care.
But the things that I think that we're probably most interested to talk about EA. So I'm personally excited to see more from this new Need for Speed that they have announced. And then, of course, their big one is Star Wars Battlefront 2. But I have to imagine that they're going to talk about more than just these in the press conference. Steimer, what do you want to see from EA at their press conference this year that isn't what they've announced they're talking about?
Joel. Yeah. Joel, yeah. Well, if the BioWare stuff... I don't know if they'll do DLC for Mass Effect or possibly, like we had already mentioned earlier in the show, unveiling their new IP. I know that it won't be out for a little while. They said that it was, 2018 that they're aiming to release it. So, but that doesn't mean they can't announce it and finally tell us what it is and like more information on it. So hopefully I would like to see that.
What about Dragon Age? Do you think
I don't
we will
think that,
see anything?
No.
They've already said that that's a ways off, isn't it? That they're
maybe
totally
they're
not
being
working on
sneaky.
one.
There is a lot of bait and switch that happens with E3 with them saying like, oh, we're not bringing this game, and then magically it's there.
Yep.
Right.
I think Dragon Age though is one of those games where we would. I mean, I think at the most we'll see a teaser, but I don't even think we'll see a teaser for Dragon Age. No. I hope we see what BioWare Edmonton has been working on, this secret
Project
new
Dylan?
open world game. Yeah, codename Dylan. It's supposed to be bigger than Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh, it's supposed to be open world. It's supposed to be sci-fi.
Can you
Well,
bang
it was supposed to be like a live service, like somewhat like Destiny.
Like a shared world experience. Yeah, I'm into that. I obviously love Destiny. If you've heard the show, I'm a big Destiny fan. If they did something along that lines, that would be great. I mean, because when you think about traditional MMOs, and Steimer, you play a lot of MMORPGs, it's like that experience is so unique and is so rewarding, and community building that happens in those is fantastic. And I think BioWare would be a great company to kind of dip their toes into that.
I mean, they have made an MMO.
Well, I mean,
but yes.
No, I mean, but like
Edmonton hasn't, but
something new, something fresh.
I don't think Project Dylan, that is the name, correct? Project Dylan.
The code name is Dylan.
BioWare new IP.
I don't think it would be super MMORPG-y. I think it would be more along the lines of Destiny, where you have like more of a centric story and actual like things that happen,
right.
and then there's just some multiplayer elements, kind of like what we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. So even though they have made the MMO, I don't think I don't think
this is going to be an MMO. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying she was talking about MMO stuff, and I was like, well, they've already done that.
According to this article, BioWare's mysterious new IP is reportedly a sci-fi game influenced by Destiny and Tom Clancy's The Division, which will include co-op play and MMO elements. The project was first teased in 2014 and is apparently called Dylan, though that may be a code name. And this news comes from a journalist named Liam Robertson. So,
thanks, Liam.
Thanks. And this is from April of this year. So,
okay.
I mean, that's not too long ago. And, even if Dylan isn't the name of it, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
I think that's a code name.
I like what BioWare does.
Yeah.
And I want to see more from them. So, I think that's, hopefully going to be something cool.
That and hopefully Mass Effect DLC.
That's what I said.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are the two things I'm mostly looking forward to, because I agree. I don't think we're going to get anything from Dragon Age. In fact, last time Inquisition was teased for the first time, they were even announcing like, hey, you're going to catch Inquisition's first like sneak peek at our EA press conference. And we haven't heard anything. And we're still, I feel like, so balls deep in Mass Effect. It's way too early. So my two hopes, Mass Effect DLC, because what the f is going on with that game?
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alexa, did you ever play Unravel?
Yeah.
We're getting Yarny's sequel. Do you think we're going to see it this year?
Maybe. I don't know. Unravel didn't do it for me.
Really?
It was really cute. And the first couple levels, I was like, that's great. But you die for stupid reasons in that game. Like, the physics in that game is just a tweak off that it's like that little big planet jank plus a little bit more. I don't know. Like,
Okay.
I thought it was sweet and I really liked it, but the mechanics needed some fine tuning. So maybe they refine them for Unravel 2. I'm excited for it. I'm glad that little studio is making more. I hope that we see more from, so there's this amazing veteran game writer out there named Amy Hennig working with a handsome devil named Todd Stashwick.
Yeah, she's just a little game writer.
Just working on a Star Wars game that we only saw like a teaser from last year. I really hope this is the year we see more from that because it looked amazing. And she's like, pedigree is, Uncharted, Legacy of Kain. Like, I want to see what else she comes up with.
I think when they originally announced it, a lot of us in the video games world who are big fans of her work were beyond thrilled that she is with such a huge IP like Star Wars and super excited to see. But I mean, from everything that I've heard, it seemed like her project is still a ways off. And like it feels like it was announced so long ago, but like
Announced too early.
I hope though that we can get maybe some kind of cinematic teaser or something because like the other Star Wars project is what Respawn Entertainment is working on, and that's even farther away.
That's like 2020.
I mean, doesn't that seem like so far in the future? It's not that far. It's only 2.5 years away.
I know, but I'm like, what? Yeah.
I know there's like a rumor going around that like Amy's game is like a copped version of 1313. Remember Star Wars 1313?
Oh, yeah,
cool.
of course.
Which is totally not true. They repurposed 1313 actually in God, what the hell? Star Wars Clone Wars. Like you visit 1313 in like a couple of episodes of like the last season. So it doesn't have anything to do with 1313. This is like a totally new, totally fresh thing.
Okay.
So I am excited to see what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think anything Star Wars is generally pretty exciting. I mean, the fact that, EA gets to play that amazing John Williams theme, at their press conferences always gets, shouts and cheers from the people in the crowd. So that'll be really fun to see. We're going to see multiplayer for Star Wars Battlefront. We're going to have the opportunity to play. I know you guys have all said on the show before that you're like not so jazzed about shooters, but does the fact that it's Star Wars have any kind of hook for you, or are you pretty much just not interested?
The only hook I have is the single player campaign.
Right.
That's being incorporated. Other than that, I mean, I enjoy Star Wars. It's entertaining. I'm not a Star Wars super fan. I couldn't tell you what happens in what film or any of that kind of stuff. But kind of like Titanfall. In full disclosure, I haven't even played much of the Titanfall 2 campaign.
Oh, but it's so good.
I know, but
you and your buddy robot man.
Yeah.
So good.
my problem is that I just finished Call of Duty before I hopped into Titanfall 2, so I was all shootered out, and so it just didn't click with me. It's one of those games I'm gonna have to pick up at a later date. The same sort of thing. Like, I'm not into multiplayer games. I know, Andrea, you are. Like, just purely, like, shoot everybody, and it's great. But I need a single-player campaign. I need a story. So, for that reason, I am interested. But it's not going to go, like, much deeper than that.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, sometimes, we all have different tastes in games, and some people are, like, super jazzed about it, and some people aren't. That's totally okay. I just wanted to ask you. But EA isn't the only publisher that's showing at E3. The next in chronological order would be Bethesda. So they made, quite a big splash in the last couple of years. Todd Howard has been on stage. We expect him to maybe come back. But he's been real quiet. No one knows really what, Bethesda Game Studios is working on. I think the obvious assumption would be the Elder Scrolls 6 as to be like the next announcement from Bethesda. But I truly don't think we're going to see that this year.
No, I don't think they're ready.
I think they kind of set a precedence for themselves when he came on stage with Fallout 4 and was like, bam, look at this lengthy gameplay demo. Fallout Shelter is available to download right now, and Fallout's coming 4 months from now in November.
And it actually did.
And it did.
Yeah.
Bless you, Bethesda.
So I think that, they've kind of set, this gold standard for like, hey, we're going to announce this game and release it and ship it right away. And I don't know if they're going to do that, because with the previous Elder Scrolls game, they announced it much earlier in the development cycle than they did for Fallout 4. And I don't know. I just don't have a feeling that they're going to talk about Elder Scrolls 6. I think they're going to talk about ESO, Elder Scrolls Online.
I was about to say.
They're probably going to talk about Legends, the card game, but I don't know.
Bulls. Yeah, I think it's kind of a similar thing with BioWare and Star Wars RPGs. Like everyone's like, give us more KOTOR, and they're like, you have the MMO. And I think that's what Bethesda will play for a little while. I don't know how long, but they'll be like, Elder Scrolls Online, there's your sequel. And I'm sure like that's not what somebody who is more of a single player person wants. Nope. So, but yeah, I think they're gonna play that card.
Probably. I don't care about the Elder Scrolls until I see Elder Scrolls 6. So I'm really hopeful that we see. Maybe this is the year they finally come out and talk about the Evil Within 2. Did you guys play Evil Within?
I played a little bit of it.
Same.
I'm not a big horror game fan, and I know Britt is like a big fan. And that was like a true survival horror
Shinji
game.
Mikami,
Yeah, like the
blessed project,
the godfather of survival horror. So like it was not my thing. I played it at several demos, so collectively probably like 6 hours or so of that game. But yeah, I mean, if that game came out, I think it would be cool. But it's like it's too scary for me.
Did you finish it, Brittany?
Ooh, no. I played a little bit of it.
Okay.
It's a game I do need to revisit.
Okay.
Just have not.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, other than
do you really get freaked out during horror games? Is that what it is?
Yes.
then guess what we're doing?
Yeah.
She made me play Outlast once, and I sat in the corner and wouldn't move for like 20 minutes.
That game is terrible. All you do is run away in that game.
It is very stressful. I would have you play something like Layers of Fear.
Have you played Five Nights at Freddy's?
No, that's stressful
I
too.
don't want to play those.
So Layers
games.
of Fear is a very like.
I could do Until Dawn, maybe.
Girl,
Until Dawn was super fun.
And it's super fun and not scary
Yeah,
at
but
all.
like, can I start with that and then we can move our way
you
up?
not play Until Dawn?
I'll compromise.
Oh my god, I loved Until Dawn.
Did you not play Until Dawn?
I
I
don't like
played a little
horror.
bit of it, but I didn't finish it.
We're gonna marathon stream it.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit next to you. Make sure you finish
Britt and I
it.
did that.
We did do that. That was
Okay.
fun.
You did. I watched it.
Yeah. It was
All
really
right.
fun.
So Evil Within 2 may or may not be announced. Wolfenstein is also rumored to have a follow-up be announced. Now, I want to say a lot of people feel like Wolfenstein and the Evil Within are like sure bets at E3. We have the Bethesda Land graphic that they've put out, and then there's these 2 areas that are under construction, and people are like, these have got to be these 2 games.
Right.
But a lot of people thought that Wolfenstein, the previous one, The New Order, was going to be a Fallout announcement. A lot of people were sure that this is going to be Fallout, and this is why I have all of these reasons as to why this is going to be Fallout, and then it was Wolfenstein. So, if it's not Wolfenstein or The Evil Within, what do you think it might be?
Starfield. Isn't that the name of the new rumored IP or the rumored name of the new IP?
That they have a trademark, I believe, for Starfield.
And isn't it supposed to be something crazy like tie the Fallout and the Skyrim universes together?
That would be nuts.
Well, we know for sure we're not going to see anything from Arcane because they just pumped out
they just
Dishonored
did
2 and
Dishonored.
Prey. Bless you, Arcane. Like,
Yeah.
they
Go take a nap.
They get to take a nap now.
Nice.
gets to-
Open
Arcane,
world
you get a nap.
RPG, it says here.
That sounds fun. I'd play that.
love RPGs.
I mean,
Put it in my
that's the thing.
face.
Everybody's talking about. Granted, again, I don't think it's necessarily time, but how Bethesda Studios was always like Fallout, Skyrim, or not Skyrim, but Elder Scrolls.
Skyrim.
And so, like, but it would be cool if it was like different new RPG that is not either of those things. That would be really interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
What about
Plus, those developers
love
are
it.
probably really sick and tired of going back and forth between those two.
Prey DLC? Is that a possibility?
Coffee cup.
Turn into a disco ball.
Coffee cup.
Oh my God. If you could play Prey
That
as
would
a
be cool.
disco ball and the aliens get confused and are like, what is
Too
this
shiny.
thing? Or they start dancing or
Distraction.
something.
Without, giving anything away, the, post-credits sequence that happens in Prey certainly opens the door for something like that. I don't know if that would come so soon after release. I mean, they just launched that game in May. I don't know if they'd want to be talking about it immediately at E3.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. I think more likely we'll see them talk about Quake Champions. So they unveiled this at E3 last year. It is the return of one of the most popular, PC arena shooters of all time. I am absolute shit with WASD on a keyboard, so this game was really challenging for me when I played it. But I've watched several people who are like really high level PC players play it, and they've had a blast with it, and it's really fun to watch. Obviously people who are good at the game. Yeah. But clearly that's not this audience. You guys are not going to play Quake Champions.
No. My eyes are glazing over as you're talking about it. I'm just like, okay.
What's a computer game?
No, I like computer games. I just don't care about arena shooters.
She's like The Sims 3. Mm-hmm.
What about you, Andrea? Any crazy predictions
for Bethesda specifically?
Yeah.
I think it would make sense for them to announce another mobile game, considering the success that they had with Fallout Shelter. Maybe an Elder Scrolls themed mobile game, maybe a Wolfenstein mobile game. I think that, mobile is clearly a big revenue generator for a lot of publishers out there, and that would make sense. As far as crazy IP announcements, I don't know. I really liked Brink, and a lot of people hated that game.
I forgot about Brink.
I would like to see that come back. I did play that. And it's funny because I talked to Tim Willits about that. So he's at id Software, and I was like, "Hey, is this game ever coming back?" And he's like, "Well, it's not dead, but I don't think that you can expect anything anytime soon." He's like, "We're not actively working on something." I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at my interview and see if that's verbatim what he said. So please don't take me as I'm quoting him as saying that this game is in development. That is not what I'm saying.
Right.
But from what I got from him was that he was entertained by the idea of doing something with Brink, but that they're clearly very busy with Quake now. So
your mobile prediction is probably not far off because they opened a specific mobile game studio in Montreal last year.
Oh, really?
Last summer?
That makes sense. Do you think they're maybe going to convert Battlecry to a mobile game? Because I feel like that game.
I was like, I couldn't remember if it was Battlecry or Battleborn.
And Alexa's like,
what are you talking about?
What game? Oh my god. Okay, so
Battlecry.
There it is.
Isn't that game dead?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, Battlecry came out announced alongside Battleborn.
Yeah, that was the year of confusing battles.
So many battles.
I was like, wait, which battle is your battle? Is it Cry or is it Born?
Wow. I forgot the game existed.
Before we get too far down a Bethesda rabbit hole, I think the big one that we probably have a lot to talk about since they've been the most open with their plans is Ubisoft. So we obviously have already talked extensively about Far Cry, so we don't really need to talk about that anymore. We talked about Assassin's Creed on last week's show. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like Ubisoft is bringing some kind of unannounced title to E3. What do we think this is?
What do we think it is? What do we want it to be?
How about what you want it to be?
It won't be this. But what I've always really liked from Ubisoft is their smaller, sort of more charming games. Like Child of Light. Valiant Hearts is a great one too. So I personally would love a Child of Light sequel. But
okay,
I know that it won't happen.
It won't because the person who created that game moved on to another studio.
I don't care. It can still happen.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yes.
Can we get that game?
Please?
Giva said that it's not dead, that they're working on it.
They're like, we were just really slow. We have one dude in the back.
How long have you guys been waiting for that game?
Forever.
Forever.
It's been a long
6
time.
Let me check and see.
It's been years and years and years.
Because when I started my very first podcast in 2009, or no, 2000, whatever it was, 2011, 2010, I had a podcast co-host, and that's all he talked about. And it makes me sad.
Played it?
No.
Stream idea.
Teach me.
Oh, look at I see a story here that says on IGN, Beyond Good and Evil 2 won't be at E3 2017, but will likely appear sometime later this year if recent comments from series creator Michel Ancel are any indication.
Goodbye,
so this isn't
speculation.
news, but maybe he's wrong.
Goodbye.
I'm telling you what you need to tell yourself, sweetheart.
Forever. So I have a guess for one of those unannounced games, and it is a wild, out of left field guess that nobody probably has thought about in years except for me.
Lay it on me.
So a couple years ago, after Far Cry 3, a little game called Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon came out. That creative director, Dean Evans, went on to work on another new IP within Ubisoft proper. 2 years later,
How the hell do you know all this?
Because
you've done this like multiple times.
I interviewed him about it.
Journalists.
Yeah, but I don't have that good of a memory.
Here. Former journalist here.
As am I, so I'm not sure what you're saying about
Maybe Steimer's memory
selective
is
memory.
just a little bit not as long.
Yeah.
So Dean,
Not as
Dean,
elephant-like.
It's very true.
Mr. Evans hired a man by the name of Rasmus Poulsen to do his art direction. Poulsen did the Kane and Lynch games. So about, I think it was not last year, maybe the year before, shortly after E3, Ubisoft announced that it had partnered with the production company of one Elijah Wood up in Canada to make a game together.
Elijah Wood has a production.
Yes, he does. I do not know.
Yeah, I remember
do
when
not
that
know.
announcement came out.
I do not know for certain if those two projects are one and the same, because Elijah Wood's thing is like a VR game. I do not know if that thing is still happening. I do know that this thing is still happening, and I'm wondering if we will maybe, if they're one and the same, and two, if we'll finally get a teaser of what Evan's next game is, because he is a freaking brilliant game creator. Like Blood Dragon was out, like unlike anything I've ever seen before, gave no fucks, was totally weird and totally fresh. And I would love to see what else comes from his brain. So maybe one of those unannounced titles is his thing.
Maybe.
I don't have anything exciting. I just want to see South Park.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
that's exciting, but I don't have like an exciting
like it's
prediction.
not like a prediction.
Everyone,
Something
it's
new,
coming.
crazy.
We know it. Oh,
yeah, the last time we saw something, I believe, was Gamescom last year. And so we have a release date, October 17th, which Ubisoft announced. Hopefully they'll actually stick with it this time. Please. I think it makes sense. It's in LA. I think having, Matt and Trey come out on stage would make sense. Ubisoft loves, getting celebrities on their stage at E3.
I'll bet Aisha's hosting again.
I hope so.
I mean, she's like the
awesome.
highlight of Monday press conference day.
She really
I
is.
don't think she's hosting. I saw one tweet, so if I'm wrong, my bad.
my gosh, now I need to look.
think she has been cast in a show.
Oh, I mean that's good for her.
And yeah,
but it
great
makes
for
me
her.
sad.
Fantastic. But I don't think she's
Don't be crazy,
hosting
guy
this year.
from a few years
God.
ago.
What?
Everyone's going
We're
to the
tweeting
Twitter,
now.
the Twitters, the internets to figure out if I'm full of shit.
It's
No,
Ubisoft drops Aisha Tyler for its E3 press conference
And that was the sick. No. And that was
5 days ago.
That was the thing is everyone's like, guys, like they didn't drop her. She has a new gig. And so that was the tweet I
So
saw.
mad.
That's all I saw. So I think people are trying to spin it like, oh, they dropped her.
Will be hosted by devs, it says.
Boring.
It says, but we still love Aisha. Several unannounced titles will be detailed, including Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which we already talked about.
Kingdom Battle. That's what it's called.
Yeah, we said that earlier.
I wasn't paying attention.
And you never do.
No, I don't.
Far Cry 5, South Park, Assassin's Creed, Just Dance, The Crew. Okay, so
boy.
The Crew and Just Dance. So Just Dance, like, I feel like that game's the same every year. They're just like, here's new songs.
Yep.
Go forth and dance.
Yep.
Move your
I did
body.
think that we would see this new Just Dance on Switch.
Yeah.
I don't know if that announcement's going to come on Ubisoft stage or if it's going to come in the Nintendo Direct, but clearly,
Or both. Sometimes they do both.
yeah, it's
Slightly
possible.
different things.
Ubisoft and Nintendo have a long-held relationship. I feel like Ubisoft is the only third-party dev who's still like, "Hey, Nintendo, we're hanging out with you.
You're invited to our table.
So,
sit at the table.
Just Dance, I think, will continue to sell, millions of units for them. I think The Crew is an interesting idea of why they're bringing that back for a sequel. I mean, it did really well critically, and the time that I spent playing with the game, I had a good time, but I didn't feel like there was anything super compelling about The Crew's racing experience over others. I mean, they did multiplayer really well, which is something that not a lot of racing games can do. Did any of you play The Crew?
Nope.
Well, maybe we should play it.
I don't
Are we
really
gonna
like
be a-
driving in video games.
Yeah.
Steimer, what do you like?
A lot of
Salty
things.
Steimer.
I like a lot of
Like
things.
totally fuckable aliens.
Totally fuckable.
What
aliens.
about
My
Watch
jam.
Dogs? Is that
Watch
done
Dogs that
for a
just
while?
came out.
Yeah, I think
last
it's.
year.
I think we probably won't hear anything from Watch Dogs for at least another year or two. Would be my guess. Those games take a long time to make, and after their blunder with the first one, I think they learned a lot of lessons with Watch Dogs 2, and that showed in all of the reviews and the consumer response. And so, if they're going to do another one, which they will, because that game sold like 10 million units or more now, we won't see it this year.
For Honor DLC?
They just announced season 2.
Okay.
So we might not see that on stage, but something that we might see is something from Tom Clancy, perhaps.
Yeah.
Splinter Cell,
Splinter
maybe.
Cell would be cool.
Boring.
I liked Splinter Cell.
Yeah, it was good. The last one came out in 2012.
A long time ago,
so
but
it's
I
been a
liked it.
while.
Although that was
You
definitely...
don't count. God, what the hell was the one that just came out? The Division? No, one came out after that.
No. You're the last Tom Clancy game was The
Clancy's
Division. The game
Division.
before that was Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Wildlands? Ghost Recon Wildlands?
Ghost Recon Wildlands, actually, you're right, was the most recent.
I forgot about that game.
I forgot about that game.
Even though I played it.
Brett plays that game all the time.
It's
I
fun.
played it. I had fun when I played it. I just forgot about it.
I hope Ubisoft does not patch that game because it is so gloriously buggy.
It's something nobody has ever said in history.
It's the
of
fun
game
kind of
podcasts.
bug.
No, it's the kind. Okay, you guys have played Halo? Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
you know
of
how the
course.
physics are so effing wonky in that game? It's almost like to the point of hilarity, and it makes the experience that much better.
What?
No, okay.
I guess I don't know what you're talking about specifically. Because
mean?
when I played Halo 5, I don't recall like the physics
No.
being
Halo
particularly
5
weird.
is like the best shooter I've ever played. I'm talking Halo like 1 through 3.
Oh.
Like
Oh,
early
Halo. That's too long
It's a
ago
long
for me to
time ago.
remember.
Okay, I played those games.
I
at
don't
least
have
once
the
a year, so
elephant
it's fresh
memory.
in my head. You don't,
Okay.
Simon has no. Okay, so Ghost Recon Wildlands. The best way I can describe it is you will be laughing so hard that you won't be able to finish your mission, and that is. It sounds like a bad thing, but it's a good thing because it's really fun to play. Like you'll run into a rock and your bike will fly 100 yards, and it makes
didn't
no
have
sense,
that.
but it's good.
I didn't have that experience.
Oh, have you played the game?
Yeah.
Really?
Maybe you
I
need
played a decent amount of
to
it.
Play
Not
this
playing it hard enough.
Apparently not.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
Anyway.
listen, I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole because we need to
rabbit's hole?
wrap the show. But
It's a Ubisoft joke. Talk about Ubisoft.
any final thoughts from people who aren't the three people who have press conferences? Are there other pubs out there that you maybe are like, can I get this thing from this one dev?
Something I forgot about for Microsoft, and you talking about the Yarn game from EA. Maybe
Unravel.
Yarny, Unraveled. Yarny. Ori and the Blind Forest.
Oh, I would love a sequel.
So I'm hope maybe Microsoft will like bring that up as a new
Can we
new
get
game
a
there.
Cuphead release date?
Oh,
Right.
They are
Cuphead.
they are hand animating that game.
I don't care. They've talked about that game for 4 fucking years.
You know what? Go animate something. It's hard.
Don't tease us that long.
No, I agree. Just keep it quiet.
Shit or get off the pot. That's all I'm saying.
That's what my dad
Shit
says.
or get off the cup.
Shit or get off the
Alexa,
pot.
with
One game, one cup. Head.
Oh no. Oh
I
no.
think that's a good note to end on.
I think so too.
Well, no. One final note. Do you think we'll see anything from software? they are
Bloodborne
working
2, maybe?
Because they are working on something, but it's supposedly not Dark Souls.
That could potentially be something that we see on the Xbox stage that we didn't mention because Dark Souls was partnered with Xbox. We saw them on the Xbox stage. But Bloodborne was, obviously a PlayStation exclusive. So,
it might be
Bloodborne 2, Return to
More
Yarnum.
Bloodborne?
maybe.
Although I really like that leak that's going around that just is, or the fake leak that's like Bloodborne cart.
Oh,
No, God, no.
I would play
Bloodborne
that
cart.
just because it would be so stupid that I'd be like,
Bloodborne
yeah,
cart.
I'm into this.
All right. Well, we could keep going until the end of time. I want to give a big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. If you guys have not yet visited our Patreon page, please do so at patreon.com/whatsgoodgames. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/whatsgoodgames. You can tweet with us. Follow us on Twitter at whatsgood_games. And of course, we have photos and fun stuff on our Instagram at whatsgoodgamesofficial. And of course, you can get all of this information recapped at whatsgoodgames.com if you guys have not. If you're listening on iTunes or Google Play, we would love it if you guys could leave us a review or a rating in either of those stores. That would greatly help us out. Thank you to everybody who has said incredibly kind things. We could not do this without you, the best gaming community on the web. So, one thing that we haven't announced yet on the show officially, we have announced on our social channels, we will be at E3 with Facebook. So, this is very exciting. Facebook Live has a stage in the West Hall lobby. If you are going to be in Los Angeles for E3, please come by and say hi to us. We will be live streaming from the E3 Expo Facebook page. So, that's facebook.com/E3 Expo. If you guys aren't following them, please do that way. You'll get alerts whenever we go live from the show floor Tuesday through Thursday. Next week, it's going to be great. Alexa and Steimer will be live streaming reactions from the press conferences on Sunday and Monday. Brittany and I will be on the ground bringing you guys coverage. So we have lots of E3 content coming next week, including a special E3 version of the podcast that will be live from E3. So the audio quality will be a little bit different than what you hear today, but
And
we are going
slightly
to be in the thick of the action. It's going to be exciting. So we're going to post all of our E3 plans on our website and our social channels. So if you guys are like, hey, I'm out jogging right now, I can't write any of this down, don't worry. You can connect with us later this week and get all of the details about where you can find us at E3.
Also, good job on jogging.
Yes.
Yeah, good job.
Something we should do more.
For real.
Ladies, thank you so much. Steimer, where can they find you on the interwebs?
I'm at Steimer most places. That includes YouTube, Twitter, not Instagram. Instagram, I'm K Steimer because a random German man has at Steimer.
Boo.
Alexa Ray.
Alexa Ray. I am at Alexa Ray C on Twitter and at Alexa Ray on Instagram. I also seem to share a name with a porn star, and I keep getting tagged in her things.
Amazing.
By people.
On Instagram or
on
Twitter?
Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
But
okay.
I am at Alexa Ray, just at Alexa Ray. Please stop tagging me in your porn star posts.
Don't. At Blonde Ned on everywhere except for Facebook, Brittany Brombacher.
Yes. And the best place to keep up with me is just at Andrea Renee on Twitter. You can follow all of my other social accounts from there. Thank you again, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we will see you from E3.